so low budget. Here's the thing, I recorded all of this, by the way, and all my footage was corrupted. Yeah, so this is my second time doing this.
Damn.
Hey. As technology progresses, our demand for convenience grows larger. Gone are the days of locking eyes with a solitary stranger through the faces of a crowded dive. It keeps on turning off, hold on. As technology progresses, our demand for convenience grows larger. Gone are the days of locking eyes with a solitary stranger through a sea of faces in a crowded dive bar. We have Tinder for that now. In our modern society in 2025, that same dive bar would be hard-pressed to find its operating and stereo system. You'll find the music streaming platform, because that's what the world uses. We've gotten rid of vinyl. Fuck vinyl. For streaming has made physical media pretty much obsolete. How close are you? Yeah, okay. Directed by Vincent Sylvanian Dinselman, B-Side of Life is a specialist ad made to promote the audio streaming service Spotify. While the advertisement never aired on television or other services, it's made with a professional quality which still captures the everyday action of listening to music, and how convenience has changed this form of media. Yet I'm conflicted. Structured within set times throughout history, the advertisement follows the progression of listening to music from since the mid-20th century till the present. Okay, here's where it gets real. Van Leeuwen states salience as the element made to attract the viewer's attention to different degrees. There's a really interesting secondary motif used throughout this ad, in which the focus is placed on the salient vinyl record. The record is the closest figure we have to a main character. The production elements are employed to help further establish this protagonist. Through the use of tracking and fixed shots, God, I'm gonna have to cut so much of this. The production elements are employed to help further establish this protagonist through the use of tracking and fixed shots alongside the progression of the sound design and music. But what do I mean by tracking shot, huh? I don't know. Look, if you can avert your eyes to the top left or right of the screen, wherever I'm putting the picture for this video, you'll see what I believe is a tracking shot. Many different kinds of shots are used throughout this advertisement, where the tracking shot appears at very specific moments, always showing when a character is interacting with the listening device. In this current example, with the first needle drop, we can see the needle being dropped on the record. Notice how the needle stays focused with some sort of gyroscope effect, while the background shifts and remains in motion. After seeing this shot once, I was like, that's a cool shot. Yeah, pretty cool. But by the third time, I was like, this is probably pretty integral to the ad. By the third time, I realized this John was important. It symbolizes the shift between eras throughout this advertisement. The tracking shots continue to be used when the tracking shots continue to be used when the cassette is introduced in the ad, and it further goes through as the CD is loaded into the stereo. Finally, it finishes with a smartphone as it all just circles around it. You can see it here now. Another thing I found interesting throughout the video was noticing the background music was evolving with the distinct eras in the ad. The opening scene presumably sets us in the 1970s, evident by the Pink Floyd and Allman Brothers records you can see throughout the store, which I can put here. As the needle is set on the record, we hear some groovy funk, and let's take a second to appreciate that bass. And in comes a more synth-heavy backing track with barely any time to spare, as we've landed in the present day with some clean, lush production alongside our CDs and smartphones. This ad just feels weird to me. It feels kind of dystopian. It feels like it's trying to appeal to the convenience of modern society, but honestly, it just makes me sad because it makes me think about how much physical media we've lost nowadays and how it's so obsolete. But in saying that, the ad does captivate and it doesn't let go of the energy. For its whole 55-second runtime, it genuinely does paint a good picture. Susan Spiegel states, for a film to be narrative, it must present us with a series of events in ways that imply connection between one event and the next. The series of events in this ad portray the history of our world for only one form of media, and it does a remarkable job. But I definitely don't agree with the final message. Anyways, that's what I have to say about B-Side of Life Spotify. Pretty good ad, but it just kind of makes me feel dystopian about the future. Anyways.
Thank you.